Yeah, so I guess the idea of this is just to discuss everything that goes into becoming a footballer from Canberra, because you've obviously done it. And
Yeah, but I'd say not just Canberra. I mean, it's Australia in general, because, as I always said, it's probably one of the toughest places to make it as a footballer, because country as a whole, I mean, you're privileged. You have everything at your fingertips. You have no real reason or desperation to leave. So, what's that inherent drive in you that's going to make you better than those 1 million, 2 million, 3 million other kids that are already in Europe or Asia or wherever it is? What makes you better?
yeah, I guess for also a lot of kids who have those aspirations and dreams, it's like, Anton's a good case, because basically to me, it was a lack of having that mentor, or someone to show him actually how to do it.
It comes back to, 9 months ago, a year ago, and meeting, starting to work with someone like Anton. With, like you said, I mean, a dream's one thing, and then what you're doing to achieve it, it just doesn't equate. I mean, you talk about wanting to be a professional player, and you train twice a week, 3 times a week. It's not rocket science. The formula's not there. Because, when you talk about a player that's 16, 17 years of age, I mean, we need to start from way back. Where was the kid when he was 8, 9? What was he doing then? What education was he getting? What support systems did he have in place? Was he building a strong foundation physically, mentally, tactically at a young age? I mean, 16, 17, starting to teach players tactics it's too late. There was no question for Anton with his desire. I mean, we knew that, but he wasn't in an environment. I think environment's the thing. Environment wasn't there for him to really believe that it was possible. I mean, you're so far away from football, from a cultural perspective, from just a day-to-day grind of waking up, training, recovery, eating, training, recovery, sleep, and do it again constantly from 10 years of age. I mean, it was like when I arrived at Benfica at 16, and that, I thought I was young. And then you see next year you got 11, 12-year-olds arriving from other countries, other cities, starting that journey, training twice a day. It's an inherent culture. It's in their blood. It's just from day in, day out. All you're doing 24/7 is football. But where we are and where we were with Anton is his environment wasn't 24/7. It was maybe, a couple hours a week. But again, there was no one in his circle at that time that really believed that he would be able to achieve a high level. So I think that's probably where we started with him, is asking him that question. Like, does he believe, and does his family network believe that it's achievable? Because if everyone's not on the same page, and if the kid doesn't believe himself or have that super desire, I mean, let's just stop there, because what's the point?
And I think, even Anton now, he's experienced what it's like to actually step into these top level clubs, to see the level of competition that you're against. It's not just, you're rocking up to your club, having a kick and leaving. It's, as going to Benfica, it's like day in, day out, just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just constantly working towards that goal.
From an outsider perspective, from sitting back and seeing Anton's progression, I mean, you don't see what went into it or what he's done. But it's like, it's not just him. It's like any kid that's achieved something in football. There's so much behind the scenes that goes into it. But what isn't taught now is everyone's so focused on what the kid does on the pitch or what he does in training. But what about his family support? What about where he's at mentally? What about the type of values the kid has? What about his character? You know, what about how he does at school? Is he disciplined at school? Is he disciplined in life? Does he have time management skills? These are the things that are completely left out of whatever you want to call it, curriculums and football education. I mean, it's all about, yeah, it's one thing to, obviously you need to educate about football, but when you're creating a top level professional, it's the full package. And I mean, it's full package at 17, 18. Let's be honest. If you talk about top levels, let's look at a lot of the, what you so call the incubator leagues, like Switzerland, like Belgium, like France. I mean, Italy to some respect, where, you know, for me, Holland, these places are developing players. I mean, you look at Ajax, these types of clubs, they're playing juniors at 17. I mean, they're finished products at 17. They're not, you know, they're not waiting to 17 and then saying, let's start educating you to become a footballer. Or they're not saying, you know, they're saying at 17, this kid's going to play and, you know, he's a full product. So we were kind of, yeah, with a lot of players that come to us now, I mean, it's an uphill battle because the education and the foundations aren't there for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know what they've done in the past or what information they've been told, but you can't be training twice, 3 times a week and playing low intensity games, maybe 15, 20 games a season in Australia. And then suddenly you're expected to jump to training twice a day, 6 times a week, say 5 times a week, a high intensity match, maybe twice a week. The gap's too big. And, you know, what does that mean? It means injuries. It means you can't cope at that level.
You're so far behind. It's just to catch up, the amount of, I mean, the time you need to do that is just not there.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at Anton's case, going to Levante, right? I think I was talking to him the other day about it and just looking at where he's at now. And I mean, in 6 weeks that he's been there, I mean, he's had more sessions in 6 weeks than he would have had last year as a whole in camp. Now, yeah, that's fine. There's people with various opinions and, you know, that's all good. But I mean, we're talking about I'd arguably say one of the top 2 leagues in the world and how they're developing their youth. Now, you know, everyone's got their own belief systems, but for some reason that equation is quite common in top levels and in top leagues where, I mean, juniors are expected to be able to cope at high intensity. And I don't mean high intensity games. I mean high intensity trainings. You know, what are you doing after that then? How are you recovering to make sure that you're performing at top level day in, day out? And these are the things that we educated our players, not just Anton, but all our players from a young age. I mean, think about the 10, 11-year-olds in the program as well that we've got. You know, there's some great talent, but it's not all just about whether he can dribble a player or play a 1-2.